There is a third type of retail locations that we need to talk about today, and that is non-traditional retail locations. So there are a few types of locations that don't really fit into the planned or unplanned category, and so they're grouped together here in this non-traditional category. So the first non-traditional location is what we call a pop-up store. Pop-up stores are temporary locations that focus on new products or limited groups of products. And so pop-up stores are used for multiple reasons. One reason why you might use a pop-up store is you want to sell merchandise at a festival or a concert or a sporting event. Maybe you want to pop up at a craft festival or a farmer's market. So pop-ups can pop up in random locations. There are some pop-ups that are actually happening in some of the planned shopping centers because there's a lot of vacancies in planned shopping centers, and so some property management firms are allowing pop-up stores to rent space for just 1 or 2 months at a time. So there are a couple of examples I have here for you. There are a lot of times where a team will set up a pop-up shop selling merchandise for the day of the game. This is a Kate Spade pop-up that actually popped up downtown in a few large cities around the holidays, in large parks or areas where there would be a congregation of people. And it just sold a few of their best-selling purses for that year. Here's an Adidas pop-up shop. You can see that it looks like a giant shoebox, but if you were to actually walk inside, you would see that they were selling just the new release of one of their shoes. There are some pop-up shops that happen around the holidays. So this is an example of a Halloween shop that popped up in vacant space in a shopping center. So you might recognize that storefront that is no longer there, but it is now a Halloween city just a few times a year. So think about some of the other pop-up stores that you've seen. If you've seen any pop-up stores, you might think of pop-up shops that happen around specific holidays. So pop-up stores are one type of non-traditional location. Store within a store is another type of non-traditional retail locations. And this is when retailers rent space to other retailers. I'm sure many of you have seen the Starbucks inside the Kroger in Milledgeville. So Starbucks rents space from Kroger a lot of times in a lot of locations. Starbucks also rents some space in Target stores. So that happens. And so retailers agree to have this type of relationship because the renting retailer, so in our case of our example here, Starbucks generally pays monthly rent, and they also agree to pay a percentage of their sales in some cases to that retailer. So both retailers benefit from the store within a store location agreements. I want you to think about some other store within a stores that you might have seen. Another example I have up here is Sunglass Hut operates out of Macy's, but there are lots of store within a stores that you guys have probably seen in your shopping experiences. So let's talk about some of those examples in the discussion boards for Chapter 7. Merchandise kiosks are another example of a type of non-traditional retail location. So merchandise kiosks are small selling spaces that are generally located in walkways of either enclosed malls, airports, college campuses, or even sometimes office buildings. So they range from small staffed kiosks to automated vending machines. So these merchandise kiosks are different from pop-up stores because they are permanent. So merchandise kiosks are permanent, and anytime that the retail location is open, whether it's a shopping mall, airport, college campus, etc., the merchandise kiosk is also open. So there's an example on the left there, if you're looking at your screen, of a merchandise kiosk at a Tennessee Vols game at Neyland Stadium. And so every time the stadium is open, so is the merchandise kiosk. The last non-traditional retail location we're going to discuss this semester is an airport. So today airports are becoming quite the shopping hub. The reason more retailers want to locate inside of airports is because you do have a very captive audience. So most flights today have a layover, and layovers can often be an hour or two long. So you have a very captive audience there when they have their layover. So you can target specific travelers. So you'll see a lot of retailers that target business travelers tend to open up in airports because they know they have that captive audience there. So airports do have that high pedestrian traffic, and it's great for impulse purchases. Okay, so those are the non-traditional retail locations that you need to familiarize yourself with this semester. And I already asked this question if you watched the last lecture video, but do think about your favorite retailer or a store you shop at frequently, and think about the type of location that store is located in. And think about that retailer and ask yourself whether they locate in just one type of locations or multiple types of locations. And think about the reasons why they tend to operate in those different types of locations as well.